I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
What a wonderful world. Welcome in. Thanks for joining me, Phil. I thought we needed to bring a little bit of positivity and ambience to the podcast today.
No, that's a sensational intro.
Thank you.
Sensational. Really mixing it up in lockdown, aren't we?
I don't think that's a Kiwi classic, that one.
Nah, it's not.
No.
Hey, have we had any feedback from our last one?
Our latest emergency podcast?
Yeah.
No, but good listening. But I checked some stats this morning, and number one podcast recently has been the shocking predictions for 2021 revisited. So people go in to check those out and see how.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, knowing that we know a lot about how the world works, they were seeing what we were predicting for the rest of 2021 as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, maybe we'll have to update that, eh? And do a predictions for the back half of 2021 and into 2022.
Yeah. Well, I think we both predict that we're going to be in some form of lockdown, whether that be level 2, 3, or 4, for a lot longer. So we thought today we would go through some of the ways to think about making sales during lockdown, because sales and revenue can decline, obviously, with us not being able to be out there in our businesses. And people start to wonder, how am I actually going to be able to make $1?
Yeah. Hey, I feel for the butchers at the moment. They can't sell, and I think fresh fruit and veg, it just seems absolutely illogical that a butcher, when a shop like Countdown runs out of meat over the weekend, that a butcher can't sell, and the opportunity there for your small corner butcher to be able to continue selling stuff during lockdown is definitely there, with a move to definitely, online channels, right?
Yeah, and those rules are very conflicting. They don't seem to have much sort of practicality to them, which is a bit frustrating. And if you ran one of those businesses and you're listening, then we're thinking of you, because it would be tough, especially when you see some businesses that are, starting to go nuts during lockdown with e-commerce. Similar to yours, but you're in a boat where you just can't do it. So very tough on those businesses.
But I think therein lies the opportunity, right? If you're one of those businesses that can't do anything at level 4, but you can at level 3, then starting to get your ducks in a row. And if you've never sold anything online before, I'd probably suggest you've got a couple of weeks to be able to look at getting that underway, right?
Yeah. Very good. We've got a list. Well, I've got a list here. I'm sure you do too, of some of the things you could be thinking about. Just from a personal standpoint for old BGP here, we got through 400 masks, which are essential to be sent around the country in less than 12 hours. They were free, so they're not effectively sales. But and then we've probably done the cidery that we use to do some of the beer is allowed to operate, and they've distributed close to 120 dozen BGP lager around the country as well. So people are sitting on their phones, they are ready to buy, they're sitting on the internet. I've noticed through just metrics of our own and businesses that we're working with, content is going nuts. So if you're sitting there waiting or thinking, I might get to that at some stage, you're missing the boat massively, because people are craving content, they're craving escapism, they're craving entertainment, and your business should be fitting into that in some way if you want to get something out of these lockdowns.
Yeah, mate, my top tip for level 4, if you're in a position to be able to sell, is sell to your existing customers and try and sell more to them.
Love it.
And you just got to think the current online retailers, right? If you're looking at buying, clothes, for example, and you found a nice t-shirt that you like, and that might be $35, but delivery is free when you order over $50. So if you buy 2 t-shirts, you could pick them up for $60, and you're saving yourself $10 because they're normally $70 for 2, but you get the shipping free. the retailer there's winning, because they're just winning and grinning on clearing more volume at slightly lower margin, and suffering the freight cost.
Yeah. Yeah, I've even for the beer, for instance, I've got to pull some data from the guys that do it, but they're doing free shipping over $50. So you have to buy 3 dozen before you can get your free shipping. But interestingly, I'm sure the order amount and quantity has increased because people are like, I might as well get 3 to get my shipping for free. So definitely a little check. I like that about selling to your existing customers. It's always easier to sell to your current customers, but people seem to forget that and want to go wider and
feel like they want to conquer the world, eh?
So always
even something as simple as Uber Eats does it, right? When you're ordering your 6-inch from Subway, and you've got your chicken fillet with bacon, toasted, of course, and you go to the checkout and go, look, I want to get this delivered ASAP because I'm hungry. And they go, look, when people normally order this, they will also add into the order a pack of 3 cookies and a drink. Do you want to add to these to your order? Now, look, when the rig's hungry, I am partial to those Subway cookies, and the temptation is there to just click, and it's seamless. So if Uber Eats do it on their platform for their restaurant partners, what's stopping you? For somebody putting something in their cart to go, look, when somebody buys this, they sometimes add this in and upsell to your existing people.
Nice one, the old upsell, and then the premium delivery if you can, if it's legal, especially once you're back in level 3. People love a bit of paying for a premium and paying for convenience. I think one thing that I've noticed with myself, and I've been looking at different websites since going into lockdown, is the first thing I want to know on their website is, are you operating in level 4? So if you're missing something from your website and you're selling like goods, then you're missing how people think when they come to a website. So they're not going to going and looking for the answers. They're going to find a competitor that they know are open. So be very deliberate in your messaging in that, especially if you are open, or especially if you know you're going to be opening.
And that's a really good point you raise. And I've had a bit of a browse on some websites over the weekend, and the majority that I've come across, that was the messaging I was looking for. So if I'm looking to buy this, are you in a position to deliver? And I haven't come across a single one yet that says, no, we're closed, we can't deliver anything until level 3. So it's quite encouraging to see that these businesses have put some effort into being able to stick to the guidelines, but also still sell stuff during level 4.
Got another one here, mate. Contact your leads. People are sitting at home. They've got more time. This is a perfect time to be chasing up your leads, getting back in touch with them, re-engaging them, getting the conversation going again, and just saying, hey, we're still here. What's happening for you? Initiate some conversations and progress them.
Yeah, and I would expand that a little bit further, and not just the leads, do a separate messaging campaign to those existing customers. If you've got a database of people, let them know you're still there. Let them know you're open and delivering. If there's top things that are being, if you're seeing trends of things that are being purchased during lockdown, leverage off of that and promote it. Again, it's just selling to people that have already bought from you is easier than trying to acquire a new customer. So if you've got a list there, it probably doesn't hurt to, do a lockdown sale and clear some stuff and get some cash in.
I know a couple of blokes called Luke and Phil from Next Advisory, and for months, and there have been years now, they've been banging on about how important it is to build an audience in this day and age. And this is an exact example of why that is important. And if you haven't been doing it, this should be another smack in the face for you that you're not doing what you know you need to be doing. So where's your audience? Are you building one? And what's your excuse if you're not? Because if you've got one at the moment, you're at an unfair advantage for those who haven't been putting in the work to build one.
Look, and to make that practical, right, we sent out some emails last week, I believe, and you've got the list there. And just so that the listeners understand, you shared that list with me. I hadn't looked at it for a while, and then we just made sure, are there any gaps in our list? And we identified some gaps of some existing and new clients that we've taken on board. And it's like, hey, here's an opportunity to make sure that our messaging is getting out to the right people. So and we've got the audience, but we're making sure we're keeping the audience updated. Spend the time doing it. It's well worth it. It didn't take long, but it will pay. I'm confident it's going to pay dividends in the future.
Yeah, nice one. Keep your customers close. So very important. Make sure you're communicating well with them. Obviously, social media is going nuts, and you know what's something you can do to engage people to perhaps build your audience for the future as well. Think about, like Phil said at the start, you know, when is it that you're going to be ready, and communicate it when you're going to be ready, so that people know, okay, you know, I remember seeing that they're going to be open from level 3, or you know, it's clear in their mind, because people need clarity in a time like this because there's so much uncertainty. So if you can bring clarity to the situation, you're going to be more memorable than those that aren't. Something I've seen in the hospital industry I thought was bloody smart. They're first to the party to basically say they're going to have a party when this finishes, and they say,
yeah, nice.
You know, we're number 1 for this celebration. So they're already planting the seeds for people. Shit, when we get into this, that's going to be the place to go to. That's very, very smart from a hospital industry that's just, you know, grappling with heaps of carnage at the moment and can't see wood for the trees. So smart for
is that a mano for us, mate? Like once we're down, we're straight in there and we're part of the party. Surely we get VIP access.
Well, I've been tagging them, mate. I've been going down there. I've been knocking on the window. They are a bakery. I thought bakeries were allowed to open now, but still, again, this morning I went and checked before coming live on here. I know the listeners know that we like a mano. No one there.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe they missed the memo. Slide into their DM. Just go, hey guys, we're thinking about you. For selfish reasons, partially, because you make a good brew.
I've had to go to the Z station actually, and they were open, so they're still selling. So there we go.
Nice. Coconut milk in that coffee, or you BYO again?
No BYO this time. They've got coconut milk and a hazelnut shot. So wow, the lad is happy.
Wow, good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, and you managed to get out and stretch those legs on a great Auckland morning. It's pretty nice up here.
It is a beauty. Hey, one thing that Kiwis can be quite bad at, and we can be as business owners, is we forget to make offers. We just think that people know that we're there. So write that down in front of you somewhere and remind yourself during these lockdowns, like, I need to make offers, because people don't just wake up and go, fuck, you know, I might go and spend some money with that business. They need an offer in front of them to go, you know what, that's there, I'm going to have a crack. So be repetitive in your messaging to them to actually make the offer, because just offering once, like, hey, we're open at level 4 might not be enough. Hey, we're open at level 4 and you can do this. Hey, this is what someone else just brought. We'd love to, you know, do this for you. We'd love to solve this problem for you. So make offers to people and be direct about it. This is a time to be using your audience to make offers to people.
Smart, mate. And it's a good reminder of what we were chatting about in March last year, level 4, when is it Stephen England Hall from Tourism New Zealand came out and said about the stats that they've done on their internal research about businesses that go silent during times like this, and how long their recovery curve is compared to a business that stays front of mind and active. And I think in a time like this, don't be scared to even spend some money on the marketing. Don't just turn it off. Keep pumping the money into your platforms, whether it's social or TV commercials, online, whatever it is. You know, keep feeding the machine.
Yeah, nice. I think on that, you know, be mindful of what you're putting out there, what things you're trying to sell or offer or whatnot. If they're actually what people are going to want in a lockdown. I've turned off a little bit of our marketing for events because for BGP, for instance, because I'm like, well, people right now, they're probably going to see that and be like, oh, I'd rather spend my $100 over here. I don't know, like, is it even going to go ahead? What's the point? So, yeah, be smart about what you're putting in front of people. We did an email out at the start of the weekend on Saturday talking about afterpay solutions and things like that. It's on our socials as well. You know, the consumer psychology these days of have now, pay later, buy now, pay later, whatever you want to call it, whether you like it or not, or whether you agree with the industry, it's just rife, and it is what people are doing, and it is growing. So if you're not doing something to basically tell people, hey, we accept that, then you potentially are missing a customer base that wants to use that for what you're selling.
Completely agree. And I think that the reaction for a business owner, that they charge so much in terms of their fees. And I think it's a really good opportunity to sit back and go, well, what are you missing out on by saying no to this? And even, giving up some margin to actually get some sales through, because there's the generation of people coming through that don't have credit cards and really do like the buy now, pay later. And as Luke just said, you get to physically get the thing now and pay it off. And there's something buzzy about that. And the industry has gone absolutely mental. It plays right into consumerism, and people love it. So embrace it.
Yeah. And the call to action and the content we put out over the weekend was have a look at your competitors. Like, just put your thoughts to the side for a bit, have a look at them, see if they're doing it. And, sometimes we'll create terms for clients where we'll split payments or accept a deposit up front and then have recurring payment. Like, we've got to try and manage those things because they become expectations for people in other areas of their life as well. They're like, oh, do I have to pay that entire thing up front? Oh, I'm not used to doing that for the other 80% of the purchases in my life. I'm probably not going to spend that with you. So think about what that's doing to their psychology. On the psychology front, mate, one that I wrote down that I think is a bit left field is if you want to sell some stuff in a time like this, then you've got to be prepared to buy things yourself. Because if you're going to go into the conservation mode and the world's ending and I need to watch every penny, you're probably going to give that vibe off the people that you try to sell to, or you're going to sit there and go, this isn't a time for sales. That's so bad. They shouldn't be doing that. I tell you what, the Chemist Warehouse, they're a great example. I just bought a cologne from them this morning, shocked, because I know I'll buy in the future. And they're just blasting shit everywhere. And I got no idea if that's going to turn up. I'd imagine that cologne's not essential. I mean, I could ask Taz, but she might tell you it is, but I've been trying to stick to my routine. But they're still out there. They're advertising. They're taking sales. And they're saying, hey, we're experiencing unbelievable volumes of sales, and we're trying to get Father's Day stuff done. I don't even know if it's going to turn up. So that hasn't been communicated with me well, but I was still prepared to sell. So just be mindful of whether you're actually willing to be a purchaser in a time like this, because it says something about how you will sell yourself.
Gee, mate, I'm looking forward to hearing the story about when the cologne turns up. I reckon it'll come sooner than you probably reckon.
I reckon Dan Carter might drop it off himself, mate.
Oh, look, the celebrity influencer that you are with your Louisiana-style chicken from Tegel that is just absolutely going mental online.
Yeah. If you haven't tried that and you're missing the KFC, or you want to avoid those KFC COVID hotspots, then check out the Tegel Louisiana chicken. You won't be disappointed, and you'll thank me.
Yeah, look, I was even influenced and bought the chicken patties and the chicken portions. Had the patties last night in the burgers, and just like KFC.
Nice.
Bloody good.
On the communication front as well, like I don't know what's happening with that order from Chemist Warehouse, like whether I'm going to get it or whether I'm going to have to wait. So I think something they could do better is actually communicate that after the sale. Like, I was committed to buy, so they had me hook, line, and sinker. Now tell me, okay, when can I expect to receive this? And even there's a lot of people that won't sell in a time like this because they will go, oh, well, we can't deliver it. Well, people are still ready to buy. So you've got buyers ready. So just communicate with them up front. Hey, just a heads up, before you pay for this, if it's a one-on-one, we're going to deliver this after. And they might be completely sweet with it. So don't just turn off your own.
And I think it's important to be, for business owners, even small business owners, that stuff can be automated. And to use an example, I've been known to buy a little bit of protein powder. It probably hasn't had so much of an effect when you're only lifting, 5 kilos, to be fair. But there's a place out called NZ Protein that I've had a bit of a hoon on. Their sales process is absolutely slick in terms of you order online, you get an email immediately saying confirmation of order. Then you get an update to say it's been picked, packed, and it's ready for shipment. Then you get another email to say it's been picked up for the courier and it's now with the courier company. And here's the tracking number for you to follow when it's going to turn up at your place because we've given it to the courier. And I'm just like, man, these guys have got a slick operation.
Yeah, it's cool to see.
And yeah, it is. And I look at that and I go, that's a business that has got a ton of recurring customers based on the reviews that I've seen online. And I don't know whether the product works or not. Just stay tuned for that one. But I think they get a lot of it, recurring customers, because their communication and their process is so slick. It really is. And that's ultimately what consumers are looking for at the end of the day, is once I've placed an order, my money is essentially taken off of me straight away via my credit card, and it goes into a black hole. Well, you can minimize the black hole by communicating.
Yeah. And we don't know how long we're going to be in this. So if you're sitting there, fingers crossed that this all just blows over and everyone goes back to retail, well, that shouldn't be your only strategy. Go reading, go and have a look at what Amazon are doing in Australia. Go and have a look at the Goodman Group, who are trying to find the space for all of their stock that they're holding. Go reading what some of these big companies in New Zealand are doing, and you'll go, shit, I'm about to get left behind if I don't level up my attitude in this space.
Yeah, completely. And a lot of these businesses, the service providers that solve these problems, if you don't know how to solve it yourself, they're still open for business. They're working from home. It's IT stuff. So if you're unsure, get in touch. Let your fingers do the walking, jump on Google or jump through your network and go, hey, look, who can I talk to help me solve this problem? And there's people out there, they're looking for work just as much as you are. So get them to help you solve your problem so you can get to where you need to be faster.
One thing that we spoke about yesterday, and I'd seen floating around on social media as well, is that if you're a consumer of somewhere that you really love, you've probably got a bit more spare time on your hands, go and leave them a review. It'll mean a world for a business owner if they get a review, a Google review or a Facebook review. All of a sudden, you've just taken the time off your own back to go, hey, look, I can't buy from you right now, but I'm going to leave you a review. That will be well appreciated.
Yeah, no, that's a really smart play, mate, and that's really sowing the seed for future credibility. Yeah, that a business can leverage off of.
If you're a business owner, get in touch with your customers and clients that really value what you do, and get them to put in their words what it is that they like about you. And you don't know, that could be used for content to generate sales in the future, build credibility, like Phil said. So don't forget that in a time like this. One of the other things got here, mate, is it's okay in a time like this to renegotiate your terms as well. If you know you're not going to be able to pay your bills, for instance, or you've got things coming up that you're not sure about anymore, get on the phone, front foot things. Don't leave it until your payment bounces and someone's then in an angry position going, I was waiting to be paid for that. How come that didn't? So that goes both ways. So renegotiate when you need to.
Smart, mate. That's the really sound piece of advice there. I think it's really easy for business owners in a time like this just to bury their head in the sand and think the problems are going to go away. Businesses that get a lot more respect and then ultimately will be there long term will be the ones that are not afraid to have the tough conversations. And by and large, most businesses, when you do front foot it and say, hey, look, can we do this? Can we do that? Are generally accepting and going, hey, look, yep, that's not a problem.
Yeah, nice. The boring one, but very, very practical. And I feel like another couple of blokes we know, Luke and Phil, God bless them, have been telling you for a long time, build the old It's the fan account, the rainy day account. Now is a good time to be going, do I need to use this?
Mate, we could be deemed prophets, not of the PROFITS type, but of the other, crystal ball gazing type.
Yeah. From the Bible, a couple of prophets.
Yeah. Yeah, look, PRO, how do you spell the rest of it? PHETS? Prophets. Yeah. Woohoo. Sunday school's paying dividends now, and schools the English as well. Woohoo.
So you might be in a service business going, well, actually, none of this applies to me because I service clients and you don't understand. Cool, we'd call that below the line behavior anyway, but think about whether you could, for instance, run a webinar at the moment and charge people for it. And that could potentially become your funnel that you use once we get out of lockdown and people want to work more closely with you in person. So think about what problem you really solve in the market if you're a service provider and go, hey, we're going to run a group session on this at cost to come. Here's what you get. And then use that warm database once we're on the other side to go, hey, who really got value out of that? Who wants to work more closely together?
Couldn't agree more, mate. And I think to illustrate that as an example, a lot of people are spending time at home. Well, everybody is. If you're not spending time at home at the moment, yeah, I'd be questioning your ability to follow rules. But people are going to be spending time at home and going, oh, gee, there's jobs around the house that need to be done that they can't do. I'm looking at my place and I'm going, geez, it probably needs a lick of paint. I'm going to be needing a painter. I'm going to need an arborist because I've got some tree work to do. There's jobs around my house. So if you're in the property maintenance type industry, there's people that are going to be out there looking at their properties coming into the spring and summertime going, I need to do this, that, and every other thing, and going, I've been in lockdown, I've got a bit of cash, I'll spend it. So to attract those people that are thinking like that, advertise.
Yeah, nice. Lock
Get in front of them.
Yeah, lock in the sale for the future, right?
Yeah.
Because we know from last time as well that as soon as this goes back to normal, everyone's like, I'm flat out again. I'm getting my crew back together. Like all this stuff's happening. So some people are using this as a time to do a lot of thinking and decision making, and that's a time that you can capitalize off or actually discuss these things with people.
Yeah, mate. Hey, do we go there and talk about what's going to happen to the Auckland property market when we come out of this?
Yeah, why not? Let's make some passion.
It's going to go fucking nuts.
Nuts? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's spring and summertime is usually mental anyway for real estate, is my understanding. You go through winter and it comes off a little bit because houses aren't so presentable. Certainly my house, by way of example, it would sell better in summer than it would in winter. So if you're looking to sell, I reckon there's going to be a lot of properties come online for sale. So there's the supply side. I don't think demand's cooled down. There's all these buyers that are there and they haven't been able to do anything for maybe 4 weeks.
Nice.
It's just I think it's going to go mental.
The viewers on the Facebook side of things, for those that are listening to the podcast, I'll just let you know the viewers on Facebook just halved when you mentioned Auckland property. So there we go. Maybe the people
yes!
didn't want to know. But yeah, I think you're right, and I think if we're realistic about this, we're not going to be traveling overseas anytime soon, are we?
No.
So we're going to go back through the same cycle. But the banks are getting nervous about people that are self-employed. You should be aware of that. If you're self-employed and looking for debt, you need a good mortgage advisor, and you need to be having those conversations now. And don't just expect us to go back to the same as what we did last time. This could be a different ball game, and some people are going to get hurt, and that's just the nature of it. So we'll see how we go, but I think banks might be a bit nervy, but they still want to make those record profits. They seem to love rolling that out every year. So the machine will keep.
I'm pleased you raised that on the property side, that the supply and demand side is that all the stuff's still there, but the piece that's sometimes not often talked about is the banking piece, and your ability to get debt pre-lockdown and then post-lockdown. It might be a different landscape because those bankers, the risk profile's just gone up on borrowers, and they've got bonuses to protect, and they don't want to be lending any debt that could potentially go bad. So just be mindful that you've got your own affairs in order, and you're still a good customer to bank.
Nice one. Yeah, be very careful in a time of uncertainty of how much debt you were taking on. I guess we're getting a little bit off topic now, but the banks are going to get put under more pressure from the Reserve Bank of what they're trying to achieve in terms of driving house prices down, and there's just so much uncertainty there. So things are going to be very uncertain for everyone across the board. So if you're trying to project out what your sales are to get a deal across the line, do you really need what it is that you're hoping to purchase with debt? Is now the time to be thinking about it. I had this conversation with somebody last week who's sitting on 2 properties. They haven't been able to get tenants for the second, and they so want to rent the property because everybody else has one, and that's just such a, it's a good thing to do, and it's a good way to build wealth in New Zealand. But they're having a practical conversation going, you know what, do we actually just sell this, given that we've got so much uncertainty of our incomes? And a lot of respect to business owners that can actually see that and have that conversation rather than go, nah, she'll be right. I need it. I need 2 houses. I need 3. It's my right. I should be able to have these.
One thing that we get asked from banks or from customers by their banks as a condition of the lending, if you are looking at borrowing money, is are you up to date with all of your tax payments? The banks are getting absolutely hot on that. So if you're in arrears on any taxes, it is going to impact or could potentially impact your ability to borrow money, whether it's for a house or to fund your business. If you've got IRDs arrears, that's going to heighten your risk profile. So just be mindful of that.
Some good stuff there. All right, mate, I think we'll wrap it up there. There's been some very practical and good help for people to think about sales there. If anyone else has got any input, lmp@nextadvisory.nz, or leave a comment if you're watching on Facebook. Don't bury your head in the sand and do nothing. Go back and listen to this again and go, right, what of these things, if there's only just one, what can you actually go and take some action on? We know that action takers achieve more than those who just listen. So be an action taker, get some shit done, and sing out if you need a hand. Thank you, as always, mate. Some very insightful stuff there. What a wonderful world. Don't know if we'll play it to finish. Might have to wait till 4 o'clock.
Mate, that was a nice little loop back round to our intro music, wasn't it? I saw what you did there.
Yeah.
Gee, you're just the absolute entertainment maestro.
Out here trying, mate. All right, well, we'll keep people updated as we progress through this. And amazing, all right, some good feedback coming in. Thank you, Jess. Great work. All good. We'll wrap this up.